Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jack Hyland, co-chair of Teachers College Board of Trustees.
As co-chair of the board, along with Bill Rickert of Teachers College, I have the honor of officially opening today's ceremony. On behalf of the entire community of Teachers College, I welcome you to the 2017 Master's Convocation. It is now my very great pleasure to introduce the president of Teachers College, Susan Furman.
Welcome to a most joyous occasion as we honor the talented women and men who already have achieved so much and are just getting started. I give you the 2017 Master's graduates of Teachers College. Congratulations, graduates. You made it. Congratulations as well to all those who helped you make it to this day, our outstanding faculty. Our dedicated staff who keep us on track, fed, safe, and well-maintained. And let's all show our appreciation to your families and partners for their love, encouragement, and support. Graduates, you now join the ranks of our 90,000 alumni who are leaders in education, psychology, and health. Like them, you now have the power to transform the learning environment of schools and organizations and to expand opportunity for everyone, including our most marginalized and vulnerable fellow human beings. And like them, you are dedicating your lives and careers to the pursuit of social justice, a TC tradition that literally goes back to our founder 130 years ago, Grace Hoadley Dodge. Grace Dodge was among the leaders of a growing movement in the late 19th century to provide educational and social opportunities for low-income and marginalized populations. Like her contemporary Jane Addams, who founded settlement houses where people from different socioeconomic backgrounds could share ideas and information, Grace was bound and determined to improve the lives of struggling families. It was her unique vision to establish a college that would prepare teachers to work with immigrant students and their families who had recently fled poverty, war, and prejudice, and were still encountering xenophobia and economic peril. It was also Grace Dodge's brilliance to recognize the need for a new kind of educator, one with the skills, cultural understanding, and self-awareness to address immigrants' educational, health, and psychological needs. Armed with this deeper knowledge, this new type of educator could help immigrants and their communities achieve economic and social mobility. Thanks to Grace Dodge, Teachers College quickly became a force for increasing educational opportunity as a path to greater social justice. As more populations gained a foothold in society, thanks to institutions like TC, it became more essential for educators to teach the rights and responsibilities of citizenship. And the teaching of civics became commonplace in American classrooms through much of the 20th century. Helped by TC icons like Harold Rugg, founder of the National Council for the Social Studies, students were taught to think critically, to make knowledgeable judgments about political and social issues, and to analyze and weigh the statements of journalists, politicians, and policymakers. They were encouraged to participate in constructive and respectful debate, to consider opposing viewpoints, to vote, and even to consider running for office. They were taught about how the U.S., a nation of immigrants, has from time to time encountered and then marginalized waves of nativism. They were taught that basic rights are guaranteed for all, not just for those who triumph at the ballot box. Sadly, over the years, an ever narrower focus on testing math and reading skills squeezed civics out of the curriculum almost entirely. But we shouldn't romanticize the past. For most of the 20th century, legal and then de facto segregation was condoned. It's clear that the civics of old did not confront racial and cultural stereotyping and the biases that persist until today. When we reflect on recent and current events, from violence against people of color, women, and LGBT individuals, to the prevalence of fake news and the divisiveness of our political climate, we must conclude that the time has come to revive civic education for today's multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic, digital society. Yes. And this time, the lessons of critical thinking, civil dialogue, and public engagement must go hand in hand with an unshakable commitment to confront prejudice and discrimination and to secure safety, opportunity, and equality for all. As the largest and best school of education in the world, I would say the planet, TC is up to the challenge. We have launched a major civic education initiative to redesign, reinvigorate, and reestablish civic education for the 21st century. Faculty from across departments have been coming together to plan a series of projects, from pre-K to post-secondary, from professional development to digital literacy programs. Graduates, we're proud of the ways that you have contributed to our ideas for this initiative and to TC's role in advancing civic education. And we know that you are well prepared to keep challenging, reimagining, and changing the ways our schools and institutions work to produce kind, thoughtful, and engaged citizens. We have faith in the future because we have already seen you promote civic education in 3 distinct ways. First, you have promoted civic education at TC, beginning with your calls for more robust discussions on how to educate responsibly about race, gender, and class. For example, through our Racial Literacy Roundtable series, you have participated in discussions on topics such as global collaboration through new classroom media, the value of generating youth activism, and the power of personal narrative. Through our Civic Participation Project, you help organize conversations, cultural events, safe spaces, and podcasts for the exchange of multiple perspectives on social justice and youth well-being in our schools and communities. And many of you were instrumental in categorizing 6 courses across the college through a race, ethnicity, and intercultural understanding curriculum map. The map is helping guide TC students as they think about race and diversity from multiple perspectives. The second way you promoted civic education was by supporting faculty and student-led efforts to help produce responsible, engaged citizens. Quite a number of you contributed to increasing student democratic participation and educational empowerment through your work in the policy arena. In fact, some of you may have helped launch a project that will be closely tied to TC's Civic Education Initiative, our Campaign for Educational Equity's Civic Preparation Project. This project aims to secure and strengthen our democracy by preparing students to become civically engaged. Project activities include scholarly research and case studies on civic education and participation in public schools, legal action to protect students' rights to a meaningful civic education, and public engagement and advocacy, and outreach to ensure effective policy creation and implementation. Some of you have worked to educate citizens about the damaging impact of microaggressions, the everyday slights and put-downs that have terrible long-term psychological effects and inhibit interracial communication and understanding. Some of you have worked in our global mental health lab, helping to prepare mental health service providers for international refugees and others afflicted by war, pandemic, natural disaster, and dislocation. Others have helped provide mental and educational support and training for war veterans who are seeking to reintegrate into their communities as productive citizens. Some of you have published articles on your fieldwork experiences delivering community health education, giving students and families the resources and tools to live longer, healthier, more active lives. Some of you were instrumental in the creation and organization of TC's Reimagining Education Institute on teaching and learning in racially diverse schools, a 4-day summer conference for educators and leaders in the community who want to foster greater social and civic justice in their classrooms. The third way you have promoted exceptional citizenship has been in your individual work. Take Cindy Wilshire, who's fighting poverty with brain science and giving more low-income children the chance to become full participants in their schools and communities. Cindy is the child of Bolivian immigrants, and 24 years ago became the first in her family to attend college. After graduating with a degree in biology and environmental science, she didn't expect ever to see the inside of a science laboratory again. She decided she loved teaching more and spent the next 2 decades at the front of the classroom. Along the way, she got a master's in child education, plus a husband and 2 children. Cindy had always noticed the differences in learning and community engagement among students from different socioeconomic backgrounds, but it never occurred to her that she could actually do something about it, until she heard a lecture about education and brain research. So Cindy became a student once again. She chose TC because it was the only school to combine neuroscience and education into a single program. She was certain that she had made the right choice when she discovered Professor Kim Noble. Dr. Noble has been doing pioneering research on the effects of poverty on early childhood brain development and on whether supplementing a mother's income in the first years of a child's life can reduce these effects. As Cindy says, so much of education occurs before kids ever enter a classroom. Cindy is back in the lab again. As a graduate research assistant for Dr. Noble, she's been involved in a study of how environmental factors influence a child's memory and language development. She'll use her research to help create economic, social, and educational policies that could reduce inequity and improve the health and well-being of millions of future citizens. Cindy, thank you, and congratulations to your entire family. Counseling and clinical psychology graduate Max Exelis is preparing better citizens by raising mental health awareness among marginalized populations and setting an example of kindness, mutual respect, and civic engagement, obviously while engendering a lot of fans. Mac is the child of Haitian immigrants. His father has driven a New York City cab for 37 years. His mother was a home health aide. Mac grew up in 3 of the 5 boroughs, attended LaGuardia Community College and Brooklyn College, and worked for a while as an actor. But when his mother passed away in 2011, Mac was 25 broke and unemployed. He kept his voice and spirit alive by using his talents to serve others, finding work with a theater company that performed for young people in urban schools, alternative learning centers, and low-income housing. Mac was also in therapy, where he was able to speak openly about his grief and other mental health issues. Therapy helped. So why was it, he wondered, that so few fellow African Americans were in counseling? Mac learned that stigma against mental health care, as well as disparities in access, prevent many African Americans from seeking the treatment they need, even though exposure to racism, discrimination, poverty, and violence make urban African American communities among the most prone to psychological distress. Mack was also aware of the disproportionately small number of psychologists and counselors of African descent. He felt that a lack of diversity in the counseling professions, like a lack of diversity in classrooms, limited perspectives and dialogue that could otherwise help all of us find common ground and become healthier citizens. So he made a decision to apply to Teachers College. By simply being in the field as a representative, I think I can help start the conversation, he said. He certainly has. As a counselor of young male detainees at Rikers Island, Mack models respect, trust, open communication, and the value of self-care and mental wellness. He has prepared clients to build communities of support within prison and to exercise their civic rights with newfound purpose upon their release. Mack will keep using his voice to encourage more African Americans to consider mental health care as a resource and as a career, and to foster civic care and participation, especially among those who feel voiceless or lost. Thank you, Mack, and congratulations. Graduates, the important work that all of you are doing in pursuit of social justice and advancing civic education is very much at the core of what makes TC great. In this room are psychologists who will develop language and culture-specific systems of support for the impoverished, for veterans, for refugees, and for millions of displaced and marginalized people seeking to exercise and enjoy the privileges of citizenship. Others among you will help shape and set policies that could once and for all end disparities in access to quality education and health care, disparities that have penalized generation after generation of low-income Americans and people of color. Or perhaps you will extend our work in bringing the gift of speech to impaired children and the chance to speak out loudly about the issues they care about. But all of you will have a hand in changing the trajectories of the lives you touch for the better, and they will change you. Why? Because the diplomas you leave with today stand for more than a resolve to confront what's wrong in our society and to make it right. They're also a summons for you to continue to deepen your knowledge and understanding of the students you teach, attend to, their culture, their experiences, their realities, so you can work with them to achieve brighter futures. The challenges confronting our society are daunting, but my faculty colleagues and I are optimistic about the future because we have taken the full measure of your talents, integrity, and fitness to become leading thinkers, advocates, professionals, and scholars. We are confident that individually and collectively, you will make the greatest possible difference in the world, and you will both be and create outstanding citizens in the course of your work. You will reinvigorate the civic purpose of education, psychology, and health. This is your time. Keep bright the chain of social justice and the striving for civic good that started for all of us at TC's founding. Congratulations. We have now reached the moment in this ceremony when we honor an extraordinary individual whose life's work has advanced the cause of education while upholding TC's core mission to foster excellence and equity in the fields we serve. Among those honored at past ceremonies were Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Coretta Scott King, Senator George Mitchell, Pete Seeger, Thomas Friedman, Gail Collins, Spike Lee, Linda Darling-Hammond, Temple Grandin, and the Reverend Calvin O. Butts. This year, we honor 4 preeminent scholars and practitioners: Jacqueline Woodson, Melissa Fleming, Motif Chavan, Kahil Gibran Muhammad, and I am pleased to welcome TC Professor Lena Verdelli, joined by Provost Thomas James, to introduce today's honoree, Melissa Fleming. Thank you.
Good morning and congratulations, graduates. It is my pleasure to invite our medalist Melissa Fleming at the podium. Melissa Fleming, if posterity judges that our generation responded to the greatest humanitarian catastrophe since World War II with open hearts and arms, we'll owe much to your leadership, courage, and compassion. Most of the time, communication officers merely convey official stances and positions. But with some 65 million people forcibly displaced from their homes and countries, you have used your clout as the chief spokesperson of UNHCR, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, to appeal to our common humanity and urge all nations to act as the brothers and sisters keepers. Believing that making a difference in people's lives starts with telling their stories, you always make a point to ask refugees, what happened to you? What happened to your family? How are you coping right now? From such conversations came your remarkable book, A Hope More Powerful Than the Sea, based on the true story of Doa, a young Syrian woman who survives the deaths of her fiancé and 500 fellow passengers. Who could absorb her odyssey without grasping what it would mean literally to be in the same boat? But the purgatory of displacement does not end with provision of food and shelter. Above all, you have underscored the long-term impact of a global refugee population predominantly under age 18. Millions of youth undergo what in mental health we call toxic stress, which can lead to helplessness, hopelessness, and resignation. Resignation during a period when active struggle is critical for survival. Moreover, only half of all primary school-age refugees and just 1/4 of secondary school-age refugees attend school. Only 1% of all refugees have access to higher education. The displaced themselves certainly recognize the gravity of this situation. As you have related, one Syrian boy told you that when his family fled after the murders of close relatives, the first thing he grabbed was his high school diploma. He had spent years dodging snipers to get it, and now he said his life depended on it.
Melissa Fleming, you have redefined the role of communicator. You have educated hearts and minds about what it means to be a refugee in the 21st century. You have worked tirelessly to provide hope for millions adrift in a world too often indifferent to their plight. For these heroic efforts, we proudly present you with the Teachers College Medal for Distinguished Service.
What an amazing honor. Thank you so, so much, and congratulations, first of all, to all of you graduating and going into this incredibly noble profession. You know, we're often told to get the most out of life. We should live in the moment, right? The other saying that we hear very often is, the future is now. But as you graduate today, don't listen to that. I think you should savor this moment and really enjoy it, because tomorrow will be all about planning your future as people who help other people. And I work for the the people in this world that some would call the most vulnerable on earth, but also the most resilient, and these are refugees. And I can tell you, these mothers and fathers and kids would refuse to believe that their future is now. Because for them, their now is dodging barrel bombs. Their now is tearfully packing a single suitcase with their most precious possessions. Their now is turning their heads back to see the home they grew up in one last time. And their now is living as refugees in a barren desert or in a shack at the edge of the city, heads down as they line up for handouts, dependent for the very first time in their lives. Their now is comforting their son who is screaming from a recurring nightmare, unable to escape the sound of bomb blasts in his ears. Their now is sending their daughter to work in a potato field instead of into a classroom where her healing could start and her future could begin. This small story, Professor mentioned this in the introduction, but I want to tell it to you. Because when I go meet with refugees and I travel the world to hear their stories in order to convey them back to you because they're so compelling. And there's one that really stuck with me. I was in one of those potato fields in Lebanon in the Bekaa Valley, a muddy, rainy day, and I just encountered this young man who was 18 years old. His name was Honoree, and he had a camera, and he said, come, and I said, can I see your tent? Can I see how you live? And he took me in, and his mother served me tea. And then I asked him the question that I ask all refugees. So what did you take with you when the tanks were rolling into your town, the bombs were falling, and your mother came into your room and said, we have to go. Your aunt and your uncle are dead. We could be next. And Honoree put his head down and he left for a minute and he went into the back of the tent and came back with a paper carefully wrapped in silk. And he undid the paper and held it up to me and he said, I took my high school diploma. And later I asked him why. And he said, I took my high school diploma because my life depended on it. Without education, I am nothing. The subject of my book, A Hope More Powerful to See, Doa al-Zamal, was in a similar situation in Egypt. And you know the neighboring countries of the Syria conflict host 5 million refugees, are overwhelmed. She really wanted to study. Her education was broken off and she had to work in a factory. And she fell in love, got engaged, and her fiancé said to her, this is no life, you can't study. Look at these Facebook photos of my friends. One's in Amsterdam, one's in Berlin, one's in Stockholm. They're studying, they're working, let's go there, let's get married. We can have a future, we'll be safe there. And Doa said, no way. Have you forgotten that I almost drowned when I was 6 and I never stepped foot in the water? He said, I know, but our future is more important than your fear. And to make a very long story short, I hope you all read the book, they did manage to set foot on one of those refugee boats. And when they got on that boat, it was not what the smugglers who took $2,500 each of their money had promised them, of course. They had promised a luxury cruise liner that would take them in 4 days to Italy. Instead, it was a rusty, rundown, cracked fishing boat packed with 500 fellow refugees, and among them 100 children. And they sat on that boat shoulder to shoulder, feet to feet, and 4 days into the water and into the journey, they were 17 hours away from Italy. Doa looked over her shoulder and saw another boat approaching. The boat was carrying 10 menacing-looking men who had sticks in their hands and started hurling the sticks at them and shouting insults, asking them to disembark from the boat. And when they collectively refused, the boat went away and spun back and started ramming a hole in the side of Doa and Bassem, her fiancé's boat, and rammed until the boat started sinking. And the 300 people below deck were doomed. Luckily, Doa and Bassem were on the top deck, and she lost his hand, and as the boat was sinking, she was gripping onto the edge of the boat and had to watch as a child was cut up in the propeller. She fell into that water, and what would save her life was Bassem came with a child's floating ring, the kind that little children, little toddlers have in swimming pools and on calm seas. And she sat on that floating ring. And on the second day in the water, when no rescue came, and there were only about 50 survivors of the 500, a man, a grandfather, approached them, from Palestine, and he said to Doa and Bassem, he had a little baby, 9-month-old Malik, with pink pajamas and 2 little teeth perched on his shoulder, and he said, please take this child. Take her as if she's your own, because I will not survive. I just lost 27 members of my family. And Doa took the child and planted her on her chest as her own, and she calmed down. There were 4 days in that water, and on the end of that second day, she lost the love of her life, Bassem, as he slipped into the sea, and no plea of hers about how much she loved her and how much their future was going to be in Sweden and that she could study could help, and she had to watch as the love of her life drowned before her eyes. And when she was rescued after 4 days, there were only 11 survivors, and Doa had another little baby on her chest, Masa, 18 months old. And when they finally made it to the island of Crete, little Masa pulled through, and Malik, unfortunately, didn't survive. Doa and Masa are now in Sweden. Doa is learning the language and studying. But I have to ask, why do refugees like Doa have to take these kind of risks? Her hope was stronger than the sea in this case. But the truth is, no refugee should have to die trying to seek an education and safety across the sea. In August 2015, you might recall, because it was all over the news here in the US, and I understand here you represent at least 100 nations, and you probably followed it. Tens of thousands of refugees from Syria arrived on the shores of Greece. They were from Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, and they were making their way to countries like Austria, Germany, and Sweden. And the European governments were really taken by surprise. And they asked us, why are they coming? And we, UNHCR, surveyed the refugees and said, why would you take this dangerous journey? Why would you risk your life? And you know what the parents said? They said, we came because we wanted a safe place and to put our children in school. And the young people said, so I can study. And in fact, all of the refugee children I meet tell me that education is the most important thing in their lives. And why? Because education represents hope rather than hatred. It represents their future rather than the nightmare of their past, of the peaceful time back home when there was no war. You know, many of them will not have seen the inside of a classroom for years, and some will have seen their homes bombed and destroyed. Most carry scars and mental and physical damage from the conflicts they have just fled. So what can we do? We can build more refugee camps like we do now, under-resourced as we are, in the desert, tents and blankets and meals, and ignore their future. Or we can acknowledge that fostering education means building more prosperous, but more important, peaceful societies out of war zones. Because not to do so, not to fund education, not to insist upon it, it's not merely a tragedy for that child. It's frankly short-sighted, and if you ask me, it's dumb. It's a lost opportunity to educate future peace builders, engineers, teachers, doctors, civil servants, and it's the single most important thing that we can do to stem the tide of extremism and contribute to peace. I have to say, it is such a particular honor to receive this medal from the Teachers College because you have here such a strong tradition in educating and in integrating immigrants and refugees in America, but also abroad. You have programs that are teaching refugees, you're mentoring teachers who teach refugees in towns and refugee camps and in cities. And you are also innovating to find methods to help them heal from their trauma and find their future path through learning. So I really thank you for this honor because the current state of refugee education is unacceptable. And to fix it, we need the kind of investment that the Teachers College has pioneered. Investment in training refugee teachers, investment in more schools with proper facilities, better connectivity, and more innovation. And investment in scholarships to get refugees, only 1% of refugees are able to go to university, from secondary school and into university, and to help those whose university studies were broken off to resume. Because, you know, there are so many casualties of war. Education should not be one of them. Our future humanity and our future peace depend on it. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome student speaker Kenya Crawford, master's candidate, Department of Counseling and Clinical Psychology.
Good morning, President Furman, family, friends who've become family, and the 2017 graduates of Teachers College, Columbia University. And I must give a special shout out to the Department of Counseling and Clinical Department over there. I see y'all, okay. It is my esteemed pleasure to stand before you all and deliver the student speaker address. While completing my degrees at Teachers College, I've served as the co-director of the Sexuality, Women, and Gender Project, research assistant in the Stigma, Identity, and Intersectionality Lab, counseling intern at the Cole Initiative for Psychotherapy, co-coordinator for the Winter Roundtable, and every once in a while, I found the time to eat and sleep. This morning, I would like to leave you all with 3 lessons I've learned at TC over these past 2 years: leaning, learning, and loving. When I first walked through the halls of TC, like many, I struggled with the imposter syndrome. I worried that this first-generation Black queer woman from Philadelphia somehow was in the wrong place. Navigating various systems of racism, sexism, homophobia, and classism, the ideals of an Ivy League institution seemed unimaginable. Unaware of how to maneuver the confusion of multiple connecting buildings, struggling to learn how to access Moodle, and balancing all the demands of my program, I felt out of place. In my own stubborn mentality, I thought I could do it all on my own. 3 weeks into the program, I received a call from my doctor encouraging me to drop out because there was a high chance I'd be diagnosed with cancer. Terrified, confused, and alone, I learned my first lesson of leaning. I learned when, who, and how to lean on those around me. I had to challenge the superwoman stereotype and reframe my relationship with vulnerability. This meant acknowledging my limits emotionally and physically and leaning on others for support. This support included covering me when missing classes, checking in about doctor's appointments, and holding me to my new diet. I learned that my strength emits from the energy gained from those around me. With such support, I'm grateful enough to be standing here in front of you all, cancer-free, with an extra few letters after my name. The second lesson I would like to share with you all is, of course, learning. I I had the pleasure of walking the halls alongside the strongest faculty, researchers, and policymakers, all working towards creating change. While the knowledge gained at this Ivy League institution is paramount, the real work begins now. As many of us walk across this stage, elated to never write a 15-page paper again, I challenge you to not stop being a student. It became easy to allow my coursework to halt my leisurely reading and personal reflections. Today, I end my relationship with academia in a traditional sense, but my role as a lifelong learner continues. It's imperative that we take this knowledge outside of these ivory towers and share it with the communities around us. Navigate your privilege in a system of oppression to learn when to speak up and when to step back to radically create change for women, people of color, immigrants, people regardless of religious affiliations, queer, trans, gender nonconforming people, just to name a few. In your new place of employment, educational program, or maybe even sleeping on your parents' couch while in between jobs, don't let the fear of your silence hold you back. The great Audre Lorde states, "Your silence won't save you." Silence allows your oppressor to recreate a narrative stating that your marginalizations didn't exist and you, in fact, enjoyed them. In speaking up, our names will go down in history with Shirley Chisholm, Albert Ellis, and Carl Rogers. Together, we have the tools to create greatness. Now I challenge you to go do it. Lastly, I would like to leave with you the importance of loving. Like many, I've been on the everlasting quest of self-love. This lesson often battled my humility daily. Often I struggled living presently with my accomplishments, always looking towards the next goal. I rarely gave myself the space to recognize my current success. This led me to learn to love myself shamelessly. I've learned the importance of flaunting the masterpiece that is you. Do not denounce your essence and label it as humility. Today, I challenge you to no longer silence the greatness that is you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jared Ahmad Shail and Drew X. Coles, 2018 doctoral candidates, Department of Arts and Humanities. And now, to recognize each of the master's degree candidates are Tom Rock, Vice Provost of Student Affairs, and Christine Rome, Associate Dean.
At this time, it gives us great pleasure to read the names of those candidates for the Master of Arts, Master of Education, Master of Philosophy, and Master of Science degrees at Teachers College, Columbia University. All degrees will be conferred at the Columbia University ceremony tomorrow. Thank you very much. And now, the candidates for the Master of Arts, Master of Education, Master of Philosophy, and Master of Science degrees.
I'd now like to welcome the candidates in the Department of Biobehavioral Sciences. Applaud. Sarah Eldib.
Gregory Udan.
Susie Barroso Walker, the Harold Scholl Scholar, is accompanied by Eric Scholl. Susie is one of the many TC students who benefit from dedicated scholarship support.
Carmen Chung.
Nagora Rafova.
Caitlin Cherry.
Adrian Newell.
Andy Bala.
Konstantinos Silianos.
Jennifer Tuchur.
Albert Law.
Ashley Goodwin.
Alicia Ford. Sorry.
Susanna Williamson.
Jessica Stagaris.
Leslie St. George.
Christy Haggerty.
Nalene Salvador.
Jennifer Posner.
Janelle Mason.
Karen Sung.
Nadidi Egonagwe.
Larissa Lelam.
Kyle Francis Petro.
Christina Chan.
Mangting Zhang.
Nadia Ansari.
Sarah Beckert.
Katrina Lisha.
Mastana Arefet.
Brandy Schulman.
Elise Holden.
Maria Exarchakis.
Caroline Tobias.
Sarya Majdalani.
Danielle Buckbinder.
Hannah Schmakowski.
Nicole Patalakwa.
Olivia Kelly.
Pilar Aquino.
Danielle Hungerbuehler.
Heather Swanson.
Rebecca Donaldson.
Mina Park.
Geraldi Geronimo.
Wei So.
Ana Sofia Lucera.
Jinri Kim.
Danielle Brown.
Manika Purohit.
Heather Gross.
Rachel Lynn.
Jacqueline Barron.
Charles Sisk.
Victoria Swirsky.
Mary Margaret Cosgrove.
Brianna Rogers.
Nicole Owens.
Chevanie Williams Robinson.
Jody Pantone.
Maria Katsoulis.
Iris Platt.
Rutsana Koldarova.
Amanda Marie Cardinali.
Christina Shergiv.
Fahud Abduz Sabur.
Frankie Luz Guzman Moyer.
Adam Benzekri.
Alicia Williams.
Megan Carrero.
Yekaterina Snitskovskaya.
Palak Singh.
Ivan Anemo.
Jennifer Gutterman.
Christina Castro Rivera.
Melissa Zrada.
Rose Blake.
Shannon Duncan.
Linda Laporte.
Christina Galice.
Cynthia Wilshire.
Christopher Guevara.
Laura Alba.
Akosua Amatorgo.
Laura Laharska.
Taylor Freeman.
Valeria Iturralde.
Regina Bowler.
Jacqueline Franquez.
Eli Zalesnik.
Francis Scott.
Priyal Shah.
Marcos Sastre.
Alex Shepard.
Renee Deshane.
Sean Madden.
Kelly Patterson.
Nicholas Infantino.
Grace Kohler.
Daniel Sokolovsky.
Cynthia Thomas.
Katerina Clavio.
Jordan Abbotton.
Xiaomong Ma.
Jihu Kim.
Peter Choi. Will the students and the faculty from the Department of Biobehavioral Sciences please stand and recognize our graduates?
Wonderful, congratulations. I'd now like to welcome the Department of Counseling and Clinical Psychology. Steve Alexander.
Layla Abdel Salam.
Kenya Crawford.
Basil Burdut.
Alana Rule.
Elliot Steer.
Teresa Ebo.
Rishi Modi.
Denisha Barrow.
Juliana Cortezi.
Carice Morgan.
Lee Winters.
Taryn Codner.
Stephanie Hervey.
Heather Lynn Armstrong.
Kathleen Volstad.
Cody Kirkpatrick.
Alexandra Torres.
Belinda Jex.
Sarah Gonzalez.
Chloe Blau.
Mark Spahn.
Lauren Clinton.
Yali Sholansky.
Minda Wong.
Michael Roberts.
Michael Poon.
Angelica Grigal.
Helene Meyer.
Janine Sarandolo.
Alyssa Zelikoff.
Shoshana Belisle.
Dana Alashban.
Maddie Callis.
Jillian Feinstein.
Julia Lipohina.
Jacqueline Belando.
Sophie Whitney.
Samantha Straza.
Constance Walsh.
Deanna Hassan J. Kai.
Catherine Minslav.
Ashley Esposito.
Sydney Bellamy.
Alexa Kaufman,
Lara Begg,
Tabitha Rodriguez,
Melody Schwenk,
Emily Sloman,
Mona Adifard,
Alice Patakal,
Natalie George,
Brenna Mossman,
Rachel Floyd,
Brittany Gurney,
Emily Ann Palmer,
Jessica Hayes,
Jenna Cohen,
Danielle Landau,
Mariah Hawes,
Natasia Betcher,
Maria Beatriz Guerrero,
Rebecca Graham,
Anshel Majani,
Nicholas Moran,
Saloni Dave,
Michelle Cunningham,
Shivangi Kuchar,
Emily Fannensteel,
Sylvia Alves Nishioka,
Yulia Leonova,
Is it Rona Tarazi,
Maggie McDonald,
Devin Mazzaro,
Alana Barlia,
Jin Chow,
Deanna Fernandez,
Alex Harrington,
Ariel Friedman,
Julia Cohen,
Ian Milligan,
Daniel Samuels,
Anne Maitraye,
Kyrie Macbeth,
Nora Marler,
Megan Giles,
Yu Ting Pak,
Melissa Moses,
Rachel Seung Jin Lim,
Priya Arroyo,
Bomi Kim,
Maha Abasi,
Sung Sub Billy Chu,
Sana Patel,
Tracy Vadakamcheri,
Sharmista Gupta,
Rachel Liu,
Michelle Hong,
Karina Almonte,
Jasmine Sundry,
Emily Peters,
Molly Harold,
Samira Nayak,
Shane Hennies,
Kayla DeFazio,
Desmond McCowan,
Bianca Sirsasimo,
Ishari Edwards,
Kirsten Elliott Noon,
Kristen Gianola,
Megan Moxie,
Carol Dweck,
Ashley Vargas,
Elizabeth Anderson,
Alexandra Moreno,
Martina Vunreti,
Arlene Garcia,
Jennifer Lee,
Alexis Busara,
Jihei Park,
Asuda Kobar Terani,
Catherine Russell,
Denise Prito,
Allison Beatty,
Whitney Hedgepeth,
Bethany Brown,
Gianna Capodilupo,
Kimry Holmes,
Kiara Bucciolato, sorry,
Mariana Santine,
Nerdan Emanet,
Melissa Solomon,
Anna D'Agostino,
Tala Alvi,
Somya Kshatriya,
Stephanie Joseph,
Noor Salam.
Constance Rose.
Najini Bonavita.
Aaron Timberlake.
Maria Fernandez Diaz.
Julia Lee.
Amber Arispi.
Sinead Sanat.
Savannah O'Brien.
Rebecca Altschuler.
Amber Adesi.
Candace Dwyer.
Kara Haid.
Christian Hernandez.
Anchi Chen.
Firuz Ardalan.
Yidong Sun.
Caroline Kinsey.
Matthew Olenoff.
Sarah Yvette Merced.
Hannah Costel.
Kelly Wilson.
Mallory Jones.
Rosario Reverun.
Kia Eli.
Maria Anna Hartley.
Rebecca Abdul.
Beatrice Rothbaum.
Danra Chong.
Mina Chen.
Jacqueline Veras.
Yuki Chen.
Ashley Kara.
Jia-Chen Yang.
Ya Liu.
Kalei Tong.
Catherine Cassis.
Maya Bouquet.
Zara Kamalian.
Emily Davis.
Victoria Brown.
Madison Bray.
Keisha Bennett.
Renee Antoine.
Azra Rizvi.
Ravina Islam.
Catherine Ramirez.
Mac Exelit.
Rashida Stewart.
Kayla Gutierrez.
Christopher Webster.
Jack Lambert.
Caitlin Miller.
Philippa Panayoto.
Tiffany Lepron.
Rachel Rifkin.
Molly McGinley.
Gianni Liu.
Jason Wong.
Pierre Luigi Bellini. Pierre Luigi Bellini, the Patricia Green Scholar, is accompanied by TC trustee and alumna Pat Green. Pierre Luigi is one of the many TC students who benefit from dedicated scholarship support.
Julie Duong. Alexander DeReeder, the Aaron Leider Pariser Scholar, is accompanied by Aaron Leider Pariser. Alexander is one of the many TC students who benefit from dedicated scholarship support.
And go.
Will the students and the faculty from the Department of Counseling and Clinical Psychology please stand and congratulate our graduates?
Congratulations. I'd now like to invite the candidates from the Department of Education Policy and Social Analysis. Jasmine Owens.
Sinyu Guo.
Yu An.
Jintana Huang.
Stephanie Olson.
Sidra Sheikh.
Colette Tipper.
Pamela Lee.
Nadia Shaw.
Zijun Huang.
Jasmine Sanders.
Amanda Kniff.
Mary Catherine Macklin Oyaga.
Fatima Sulman.
Andrew Mulingay.
Yeta Alu.
Jalise Albanese.
Abhijit Taji.
Saida Parks.
Maria Jesus Rojas.
Crystal Lane.
Yimeng Kian.
Brielle McDaniel.
Zahir Abbas.
Deja Thomas.
Hui Dao.
Tina Marie Williams.
Denise Jones.
Raichong Ni.
Rachel Leopold.
Li Jiang Chen.
Taylor Ibas.
Xinyi Zhang.
Melissa Marcus.
Zi Tao.
Freyal Shaw.
Zhen Wu.
Paul Kim.
Jiachi Young.
Mary Garcia Maisonet.
Jemmy Pam.
Lawrence Wong.
Taiko Suga.
Philip Broder.
Roslyn Sandy.
Gershwin Penn.
Livia Galvani de Barros Cruz.
Violet Wanta.
Thomas Minerva.
Anne Lebu.
Elise Marifian.
Kara Gardner.
Amina Amaragich.
John Sludden.
Megan Stentz.
Rachel Cohen.
Chelsea Guthrie.
Julia Grizzard.
Kate Rocky.
Courtney Clamor.
Lorian Della.
Jackie Tuliao.
Melissa Doherty.
Kylie Davis.
Janice Talbert.
Catherine Hansen.
Christina Chase.
Ravena Rakonets.
Darius Brown.
Muhammad Hussein Yusufi. Evan Reinstein. Will the students and the faculty from the Department of Education, Policy, and Social Analysis please stand and congratulate our graduates?
Congratulations. I'd now like to invite the candidates in the Department of Health and Behavioral Studies. Sarah Moskowitz.
Alexandra McDonough.
Caitlin McGuire.
Rebecca Gaynoon.
Rania Furia.
Erica Fan.
Gabrielle Tesson.
Brittany Modell.
Amy Matevsky.
Whitney Sturton.
Delana Du Bois.
Megan Bleckenship.
Hannah Biggie.
Emily Cooper.
Christina Martin.
Michelle Bobo.
Leslie Katz.
Brandy Prowl.
Sydney Nemiroff.
Ashley Makovic.
Devin Merrick.
Allison Wagner.
Caitlin Stillwagon.
Jessica Cohen.
Alyssa Greenstein.
Ellie Tunison.
Brianna Spitaleri.
Stella Benezra.
Shannon Doss.
Giannina Adino.
Christina Peng.
Yara Mohammed.
Chok Lee.
Nurul Akmar Abdul Aziz.
Erica Silverstein.
Gabrielle Filiberti.
Shuhua Liu.
Megan Young.
Tyler Beauchamp.
Stormy Lee.
Maria Stethagos.
Damini Bonagiri.
Brittany Foreman.
Ishita Mitra.
Stephanie Henninger.
Amanda Mazel.
Samantha Gagliano.
Lauren Belfer.
Dana Steinberg.
Andrea Friedman.
Alexa Quiones.
Natalie Marek.
Laura Roselle.
Allison Hard.
Jillian Howard.
Tiffany Ameder.
Kayla Callister.
Bianca Hasos Fox.
Anna Davis.
Isabel Karen Lusatar.
Alexa Schultz.
Hinfeng Chung.
Cynthia Kovacs.
Jennifer Cadenhead.
Hillary Samuels.
Minerva Kim.
Beatrice Tan.
Young Tao.
VJ Lam.
Inlu Pen.
Barbara McDonald.
Kaniko Colley.
John McDonald.
Jenna Caroli.
Melissa Sherman.
Christina Beautisian.
Elizabeth Bonomo.
Emily Ellis.
Christine Bradley.
Marissa May.
Raquel Hawkes.
Vivian Polakal.
Alberto Jacinto.
Laura Sinkovich.
Vanna Sohm.
Ava Safer.
Apeksha Mevani.
Leela Swartz.
Tsife Ren.
Anjuman Shah.
Hossam Alarkik.
Debbie Vongwiwa.
Leah Friedman.
Nicole Orzetti.
Megan Carey.
Caitlin Mastriano.
Brittany Shawson.
Haley Rothbaum.
Victoria Verdon.
Jane Rocco.
Amanda Crescito.
Ann Petrosino.
Melissa Miati.
Janki Bhatt.
Marvi Karaja.
Chelsea Masood.
Megan Statlander.
Emily Povich.
Diana Febres Cordero.
Ariel Rothbaum.
E. Emily Weiner.
Jessica Fletcher.
Emily Justice.
Amanda Murphy.
Melissa Benensig.
Elizabeth Cherubino,
Cassandra Sarnell,
Anna Schaffler,
Yasmin Sanandaji,
Leora Iluz,
Fahima Abdul Ghani,
Alyssa Bloomberg,
Erica Myler,
Nicole Mahig,
Sadia Humaira,
Laura Fitzgibbon,
Comfort Biratwam,
Renata Robel Becker,
Rachel Cunningham,
Laura Smith,
Erica Weissman,
Nicole Alissi, will the students and the faculty from the Department of Health and Behavior Studies please stand and congratulate our graduates? And will all of our faculty and all of our students please stand and congratulate our graduates?
And now, for the presentation of the candidates, please welcome Provost Thomas James.
President Furman, Mr. Highland, Mr. Rickert, trustees, faculty, staff, and guests, it is my great pleasure as Provost of the College to present to you the master's candidates from Teachers College. Please hold your applause until all of the candidates have been recognized. Would the Master of Arts candidates please stand, be recognized, and remain standing? Would the Master of Science candidates please stand, be recognized, and remain standing? Would the Masters of Philosophy candidates please stand, be recognized, and remain standing? Would the Master of Education candidates please stand, be recognized, and remain standing? President Furman, I ask you to recommend these students for the granting of their master's degree tomorrow morning at the Columbia University commencement exercises. Please be seated.
Please welcome Jeffrey Putman, the president of the Teachers College Alumni Association.
Alumni. Let me say that again. Alumni. It is my distinct pleasure to formally welcome you into the Teachers College Alumni Association. As you stand here before this esteemed group, trustees, administrators, your faculty, family, and friends, and alongside your peers, we look on with great pride. Today, at this moment, you join our Alumni Association, a network of over 90,000 professionals, comprising alumni from 10 academic departments and all walks of life and career stages, who have created this legacy which you are now a part of. Your fellow Teachers College alumni have truly made a global mark, shaping many fields of inquiry and practice. They have done so because of their leadership, tenacity, experience, and wisdom. They have also done so because of the people like the ones around you today, building solid support systems and a network of peer mentors. Many would argue that they have done so because of their Teachers College preparation. We know that you too will follow in these footsteps and make your own mark in your respective fields. Just as you occasionally needed some support throughout your time at TC, we know you will need similar resources as you embark on your careers. Look to Teachers College. I am here today to tell you how valuable your participation in your Alumni Association can be. We are colleagues and collaborators, supporters and challengers, mentors and mentees, and most importantly, we are your peers. What holds us all together is our alma mater, Teachers College. While everyone had a slightly different journey, I am certain that no one's path leading to this time and place was free of challenges. I am also certain that along the way you found inspiration, insight, and joy. And many of you have developed what will be lifelong friendships. I encourage you to stay connected to your classmates and fellow graduates as you move forward in your careers, and to tap into the deep pool of expertise and knowledge offered by the broader TC community. We hope to see you at future alumni events, and we also hope to feature you in future alumni newsletters. Please remember that you will always have a home and rich community at TC, which you can access physically and virtually. On behalf of your fellow alumni, we all wish you the best in your endeavors. Congratulations and welcome to the Alumni Association.
Please welcome William Rickert, co-chair of the Teachers College Board of Trustees.
On behalf of the entire Board of Trustees of Teachers College, I want to congratulate every one of you on your very special achievement. We thank your family and friends for joining with the faculty and staff of Teachers College to recognize you, the master's candidates of the class of 2017. Please join us for light refreshments in the Russell Courtyard back at Teachers College. And we ask all of our guests to please remain in their seats until all of our students have left the cathedral. Thank you very much.